just kind of start off with an introduction for you. For anybody that may not know your name, they'll definitely know your work. So I've been with Archie for quite a while, kind of the regular artist for Archie Comics with
Well, one of them.
one of them. And then, of course, uh, the absolutely crazy in concept, but fantastic experience that is Archie versus Predator.
That was a lot of fun.
But and then now you serve as the academic supervisor for Kubert School.
Yep.
And for those that don't know, the Kubert Art School is widely regarded as one of, if not the premier art schools for people that want to be cartoonists or illustrators for comic books.
One of the few out there
Yeah.
that specialize in this area.
Yeah. And it's kind of what I want to focus on right now before getting into the discussion for the industry as a whole is just kind of your experience that you've gained from Archie and being the academic supervisor for Kubert.
hmm
So I've kind of described the industry as being in a state of flux more so now than ever before. One week it seems like fans are the happiest they've ever been, and the next one it seems like they want to burn the industry to the ground. Um, has that kind of morale of the audience maybe affected the students coming into Qbert or anything that you might have noticed?
Well, I think the students that we get are definitely a passionate bunch. I do think maybe the focus has changed as I think when I first started teaching, everybody, all of our students, all wanted the same thing, which was to draw the X-Men.
Mm.
Now I think things are a lot more widespread. Manga has become a much bigger deal than it was in the early 90s. It certainly has brought, I really credit the rise of manga with the draw of a lot more female students to our school. Um, but with things like that, with more diversity in terms of what's being published, I think interests are really all across the board. So I think, and you also get people who they come not only for comics, but maybe for concept design, storyboarding, things like that. So I think it's a wider focus now.
Okay. So, of course, I don't know how much you can speak on like with confidentiality of Cuba, but it seems like we'll probably be getting a whole new generation of artists as time goes on. Everything seems to enrollment is
Oh, oh yeah, that's our trade is we hopefully generate a new generation of artists every year.
and so now kind of focusing on you for a second. Before you were a teacher and a creator or part of the creative side of comics, you were a fan, I imagine.
Yeah, I grew up as a big comic fan, big cartoon fan.
Yeah. So with all that being said, the new generation of artists, your experience as a fan and a creator, uh, how do you kind of feel about the state of the industry itself? You've been involved for quite a while with big name publishers and IPs. You've done your self publishing and even worked with webtoons. Do you feel that the industry is strong and surviving, or do you think there may be some sort of a change where it might need to go?
Well, I think it's probably in a state of transition.
Mm.
I think it's changing. I definitely think that the appetite for what we call narrative art here at the school, that the sequential storytelling, I think that's as strong as it ever was, if not stronger. Because again, you look at the numbers of things like web comics, again, manga publishing sales. Um, I do think that maybe the that traditional delivery system of the monthly 32-page comic book, I think the business of that may be changing. So
Mm,
I'll wonder, where that format is going, but I still see whether it's, comics online or maybe more of a graphic novel, a bigger, more substantial format. I see it changing. I don't see it going away. Like you get a lot of doomsayers out there, but
mhm.
I do think that realistically it's probably changing, and that's natural.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of the Doomsayers, that reminds me a few years ago, there was the rumors of DC Comics ceasing all new stories and only focusing on republishing. I remember that was a rumor a few years back.
That rumor has dogged every company for as long as I've been working and reading comics. I've always heard, oh yeah, they're going to go all reprint. They're going to go all reprint. It hasn't happened yet, uh, if ever. So, I think original material is always going to be necessary.
Mhm.
What may change is how much original material gets produced. That can be up in the air, but I think you need relevant contemporary material.
Okay. Uh, yeah. And that once again reminds me of kind of DC a few years back. We was trying to get their new age of heroes, get an introduction, but sometimes the fans they want the new stuff until they get the new stuff, and unfortunately, the new age of heroes kind of dropped the ball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes some of that stuff gets launched in kind of a misguided way.
You talked about the digital print. Do you feel that digital has been more of people say that digital has often harmed the industry more than it's been a boon? How do you feel about that opinion?
Well, I could see it being a harm just because, I mean, it's real easy to pirate this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not good. Um, I think, and maybe it might be wishful thinking on my part, there might still be enough old dinosaurs like myself who still like, I like holding a paper book in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I'm not alone there. I hope there's still enough of us out there. Um, but w whatever the delivery system is, as long as there's something out there to get comics out there.
Okay. Um, and since you do the self-publishing and stuff, in your opinion, as kind of a producer of this, not really a creator, but producing it, do
Mhm.
you personally feel that digital comics should cost the same as printed comics, or do you think there should be a little bit of that kind of leeway?
Well, that depends. That
Mm-hmm.
that really depends on the demand. Look, I'm all in favor of people getting whatever they can. So if you find an audience that's willing to pay you $4.99 for your digital comic, great. If you are a real independent creator and you're trying to really, you're putting out there a totally brand new IP
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't have a following, well, honestly, you have the room to deliver your product a little cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
and that may be a draw or a plus to new readers. Or it may be a way of getting a first issue out there. So you have some room there to play.
Okay.
Uh, you know, when I did Die Kitty Die with Dan Parent, um, initially we did a Kickstarter to
Mm-hmm.
fund our book. And initially our plan, Dan and I being old dinosaurs, is we wanted to do, four individual single issues. And then a friend of ours, Giselle Legacy, who does her own web comics and her own very successful Kickstarter. She does Pixie Tricks comics. Um, and she's like the Zen master of Kickstarter. She makes a million bucks with her Kickstarters. She took a look at our plan and she said we were crazy to do individual issues because no, they're expensive. Printing is expensive, and the thing that nobody ever thinks about when it comes to Kickstarters, shipping is expensive. You do four individual issues. you got to get those out in the mail, and that costs money. So we went with individual digital issues, which was far cheaper. So I mean, it just made it more possible for us.
Okay. And so I guess we can quickly kind of circle back to talking about you and Cubert School. Uh,
Sure.
just for any of my audience that doesn't know, would you like to kind of we've been touching on what Cubert does, but would you like to kind of give more of an in-depth description for the school?
Sure. We are a 3-year commercial arts school based in Madison, New Jersey. And we were founded by the legendary Joe Kubert, who, you know, was with DC Comics for forever and drew all his life and worked on characters like Sergeant Rock and Hawkman and just so many other characters. Um, and we try as much as possible, more so than a school. We create a mentorship for people who want to get into all areas of commercial art. Of course, we're probably mostly associated with comics, and certainly uh, much of our faculty and staff, including myself, were graduates of the school ourselves, and most of us work in comics. So yeah, comics are a big part of what we do, but we really we really train our students so that they can work in all aspects of commercial art, and really they end up doing just that. So yeah, we have a lot of students who have broken into comics, worked in for all different comic companies. A lot of our students are self-publishers as well, but we have students who have gone into animation, advertising illustration, uh, book illustration, all forms of illustration, the digital art, um, concept design, you name it. We've got a student who a graduate who's done it.
And I do also like that y'all do the kind of extracurricular online classes. I've done a few of the inking ones in the past,
Oh, great.
or in my instance, where I don't have a single artistic bone in my body aside from inking. I like the creative writing, the script writing. Um,
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
it's my dream to write for comics one day. I haven't gotten there yet, but I do like the classes that y'all do. I try and get them whenever I can.
Oh, great. Yeah. I think the online classes that we do, I tell people all the time, to take our classes, you no longer have to relocate to beautiful New Jersey. You could sign up and take our classes online. In fact, we also offer our full-time curriculum. We have students who are in person as well as students who do it online as well. Our classes are a combination of in-person and remote students. So we've had students all around the world, really.
All right. Well, that's awesome. It seems like kind of between your confidence and experience and the dinosaurs and then this new coming generation, I think the comic industry is in good hands.
Well, I think so. Like I said, that there's no denying that the interest is definitely there. I mean, we see, again, just the way manga is permeating everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people like it. People love to read, and I grew up believing this, and I still believe it. I believe that comics are the best fusion of writing and visuals.
I completely agree. Well,
Even more so than film. And I love movies and I big respect for filmmakers, but film is still a passive form of entertainment. You sit there and you watch it. With comics, you're reading it. So you have the opportunity, just like when you're reading a novel, there's a story you like and they make a movie from a book, and the book is always better. It's because you could get into the characters' heads, and comics let you do that too. And also, the special effects budget is a lot cheaper in comics than it is in film, regardless of CGI.
mhm. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Fun fact about me that some of my audience and my classmates and professors have heard time and time again is My father actually taught me to read as a kid by giving me comic books because I was too stubborn to do the other ones.
I hear that all the time. I hear that all the time, and I think that's great. I think that that stigma of comics being something that only dumb little kids read, I think that's in the past. I hear a lot all the time that people learn how to read or improve their vocabulary from reading comics. And I think that's great. I think that's absolutely great.
All right. Well, we are coming up on a little bit shy of 20 minutes. So, once again, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to sit down with me. Um,
Oh, not at all.
Before I let you go, do you got any advice for the artist that wants to get into the industry?
Oh yeah. Well, the main thing is keep drawing. Keep drawing. I always recommend to everybody, if you're interested in art, draw something every day. And that doesn't mean to sit down and draw a whole issue of the X-Men every day. If you doodle something, draw an eye, draw a face, draw, a Snoopy, draw whatever. Do something every day that keeps you going. It's also good diversify. Draw lots of different, don't just draw the same Batman head every single day. Draw Batman, draw Batgirl, draw a tree, draw a car, a horse, draw lots of different stuff. And that will help you. Yeah, I tell my students in basic drawing here at the school, if you never take an art lesson in your life, but you draw, you will get better. You, of course, get better with instruction, but just doing it, you will naturally get better. So that's the main thing, is just keep drawing. Draw something every day.
All right. And I will be sure to direct anybody to your YouTube channel, your
Oh,
Instagram,
please do.
and your website, FernandoRuizEverybody.com.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And once again, before we sign out, I know you said it was no problem at all, but I do appreciate this. So thank you.
Oh, well, thanks for including me, Trayton. It was a pleasure. The great questions. I think we had a nice conversation.
I agree.